Hi, I'm Roland and welcome back to Practical Plastic. So today what we're going to be looking at is the Mack Bulldog truck from Atlantis Models. Now, you may notice I don't have a box. And a little bit of a story with this kit. I had bought this kit, I guess about a year or more ago. Yeah, definitely more than a year. Anyway, I had a major flood in my basement here, which if you've been watching some of my older episodes, I talked about rebuilding the hobby area and whatever. But this box, I had received it because I had bought it online, and I had put it on the floor by my hobby table, and it was still there when the flood came. So the box was ruined. Even through the plastic shrink wrapping, the water got in there and ruined the box. So I will put a little image of the box art right here so you can see that. And like I said, unfortunately, I don't have that to show you. Now, this looks to be a great kit, and I can say that right off the bat because I built this kit. This, at least in my experience, was originally a monogram kit, and I built this back when I was about 9 or 10 years old. So we're talking about 48-ish years ago. Long time. But I saw this kit was reissued by Atlantis, and when I saw that, I was like, I gotta get me one and add it to the collection. Now, since I just had another little flood in my basement recently, which fortunately wasn't nearly as bad as the first one, just a matter of getting some water cleaned up. Obviously have to get some plumbing addressed. But I figured, why not take out the model that was from my youth and that almost got wrecked in the first flood. So all that said, I'm gonna flip that camera around and we'll take a look at the parts. And of course, in the meantime, I do want to say thank you for watching, subscribing. Please do consider hitting the like and the alert and share and spread all the hobby goodness. All right, thank you. Okay, before we jump into looking at all the parts and the goodies in the kit, just wanted to mention, although I am building the Mack Bulldog with the stake bed, Atlantis has also repurposed these kits. There are two other versions, which I'm pointing out here. Also great in that it's the same guts of the truck, but just a different bed treatment. So like many model manufacturers do, no harm in repurposing a mold to give you a different variant of a kit and saving you the trouble of having to scratch build everything. So that's pretty cool. So just looking at the instructions, we have a little history of the vehicle. I always like when that is included. The instructions are of the big fold-out kind, which are hard to show on camera since it's such a big sheet. But as you can see, everything is clearly laid out. We even have a set of text instructions with check boxes next to them. So if you are new to the hobby, if this is a very first kit that you're building, this is great to guide you through. And there were a number of kits back in the day, but way back, I remember when I was little and growing up, where every now and then you would come across a kit with these styles of instructions. And when I was really starting to learn how to build a kit rather than just glue bomb it and slap it together, I did find this very helpful because I could really read through and see what the thought process was in the assembly. And then as I went and gathered up my pieces and started putting them together, I could then just check off those steps so I didn't forget anything. There are, as I said, somewhere between 130, 150 parts in the kit, whatever. But, you know, certainly when you're younger, but if you're new to this, it's easy to, lose track of what you're doing. So it's good to have everything laid out for you in a nice, orderly fashion. which is wonderful. The only thing that is lacking at first glance is a paint guide, but yes, I did see it. This is why I don't like these giant fold-up instructions. They give you a paint guide right here for the different colors and all the different parts as they should be painted. So it would be nicer if that is spread through the instructions, but you can always go from here, and since they identify what the actual parts are, you could just, FB for flat black, silver, S, whatever, and label it through the build. So again, nice. But the other thing I really like here in these instructions, again, if you are new and this is like a first kit or a very early kit in your hobby journey, and you've seen people do modifications of kits and, you wonder, how do you figure that out? They show you right in the instructions and they give you descriptions. They're brief, but they tell you briefly how to build this kit several different ways. Building it without the states, without a windshield, chopping the cab. They do show you instructions where exactly to chop the cab. So this, I think, is great because if at some point you do want to look at modifying or scratch building in a kit, having a kit that outlines something like this is a really good learning experience. Even if you don't do it with the kit, you can look at that, study it, and again, read through the instructions, and it can help get you on your way. So, good job. Yeah. So let's look at some tires. Now, because of the era of the vehicle, they all had these bicycle style tires, but they're rather pliable. They do have a very simple diamond tread on them, but that's how these things were. And it just requires a little sanding, nip from the sprue, and there they go. Clear parts. We do get just a very meager clear parts tree because all we need are 2 windshield panes, 2 headlights, and I am guessing that these are a few marker lights. So as usual, I'm going to keep those in the bag. Now, the decals were loose in the box when I received the kit, but since the flood that this kit got trapped in, the water had found the hole in the plastic shrink wrap on the box, ruined the cardboard. But when I opened it up, thank God the decals were still dry. So in the time that it was in storage before I could build it, I did just wrap it in some, it's not a paper towel, it's a paper napkin, and kept them in a Ziploc bag. And it's nice to see that they are still safe. So let's look at our parts. And as you can see here, as I hope you can see, might be a little better to get the shadow out from behind it. There we go. So with the parts molded in black, it is a little tough to see all the detail in here, but there is quite a bit of detail on these parts. The leaf springs are molded in on the 2 frame rails, but you can see that they are molded nicely, so that's great news. We have a lot of mechanical elements here. Start of the transmission, various drive elements. This is a chain driven vehicle. It does not have a standard differential with a drive shaft, so it's a really neat way to see, a different way to see how vehicles were designed and propelled back in the day. I love that, and we'll get to the chain drives in a moment, but it does have a fairly detailed drivetrain, which is really nice. So into our next sprue, and here we have the sides of the engine. We have a floorboard with a wood grain paneling, more suspension elements and mechanical elements, and here those big chain drive sprockets. There was one on each side, one to each rear dually wheel. So This is really nicely molded. I hope it comes up on camera to see, maybe in the reflection of the light, where you can see all the detail in that chain. And so that can be brought out nicely, and it is looking good. Now, one thing I do want to point out before going much further, while the sprues are not lettered, A, B, C, D, they all have a little tab on here, and it's hard to see, maybe with the light reflecting on it. Here we go. It says parts 90 through 128. So I think that's neat. I think that's very thoughtful for a kit that is about, like I said, at least 50 years old, that they labeled the sprue with the part numbers on it. So again, if you're new, if this is a first kit, even though there are no sprue maps in the instructions, you do have these tabs, and those could be very helpful, being that you have a little bit of a higher part count than you have in a normal car kit. So I like that. Now, moving into the yellow plastic, and first thing I will say with this is, looking at it, the color saturation is very good. Sometimes when you get kits that are molded in color, except for black, which is usually pretty easy to do, except you have the plastic sheen, some colors you end up with color swirls, and or the parts still look a little translucent, but this has a good color saturation for the yellow, and that's nice to see. But looking at the sprue, we do have a little bit of warp. I'm really not surprised for the bed plate. It's a big piece. It's rare to see a piece of plastic this size that doesn't have a little of whoop-de-doo in it. But because we're doing a layered assembly here with the bed to the underlying support frame and then the bed sides, like any, as I've said before, any multi-part body assembly, as long as you keep each piece true as you build it, it will true itself out, and you should not end up with anything warped. It just takes a little extra time and care, but looking good, and nice wood grain on the molding. Here, more of the bed components, and again, everything here has it's really beautiful wood grain on it. It's just thinking for a minute, this, to repeat again, we're looking at molds that are about at least 50 years old, and I don't know if you've realized it, seeing it on film in the video, but these molds are really clean, and there's very little flash. I don't see any big mold misalignments, or I don't really see any issues, and this very fine detail of the wood grain, it's all there, and it's still in really good shape. So hey, Atlantis models, you're doing a good job, because there are a lot of kits that come out of molds that are not as old as this, and the parts are not nearly in this good a shape. So this is well done. This is a company taking care of their molds to give you a nice product out of the box, and I really appreciate that. So there we go. Now here we have some more yellow for the cab assembly. The cab as well, you can see, is a multi-piece construction, and the sprue itself has a little whoop-de-doo in it, but the parts themselves are looking pretty good. But again, because it is a multi-piece cab, once this goes together, it should true itself out if you take your time with it. And also has a pretty nice gloss on the parts too. Very smooth. I am I am impressed. I did not expect to see this level, knowing for a fact how old the kit is from when I had originally built it, I was expecting when I bought it that the parts would need quite a bit of attention and work. But yeah, not to be a broken record, but they really did a nice job maintaining these molds. So good job. Oh, now here, this is stamped Revell 1974. There we go. How about that? So 51 years on this mold. I bought it last year, so it was 50 years on the mold when I bought it. But yeah, nevertheless, in good shape. And we do have one loose piece, which is this radiator. You can see where it broke off the sprue. It's like firewall and maybe some kind of venting there. Anyway, that's that. So there it is. The Atlantis models, formerly Monogram, formerly Revell, Mack Bulldog truck in 1/24 scale. So I'll show some of the sprues after this, and in the meantime, I'm going to get to building, but enjoy your hobby. Alrighty.